This is psychic astrologer, or we could say intuitive astrologer, Michael Vanderpool. I have a website at www.universalstars.net and a YouTube channel, which is probably how most of you will be hearing this. This is for Mariam in Tbilisi, Georgia, born June 25th, 1996 at 7:30 a.m. And this astrology is basically going to be a very quick version of it. I'm going to try to keep it under 30 minutes in length and just touch very quickly upon a broad overview with some specific predictive astrology, which is my favorite. And in that part, I will be using Magi Astrology and looking at the extremes in love, gains, or losses. And I would give that about 77 to 80% accuracy overall. So I would take that part very seriously. But I always like to start with fixed stars. Not always, but often. Fixed stars is a lesser known, rare form of astrology. And I can't say that Magi Astrology is known well enough as it should be. And that's Magi. But we'll take a quick look at the fixed stars chart. It's very important to have Bernadette Brady's books, the book specifically on fixed stars and planet combinations that gives at least usually another sentence or two on the interpretations of the fixed stars in combination with planets. So it's so insightful and so in-depth that without that you're only getting part of the picture in terms of just looking at this chart that I have included in this slideshow audio, multimedia presentation, Astrology on Mariam. The date today is August 20th, 2016. Currently, I am in Tbilisi and met Mariam the other night. So she has a strong interest in astrology, so I wanted to go ahead and just give a quick overview. To do it right would take quite an extensive, deeper look and longer time. So, in looking at the fixed stars chart on Mariam, you see the stars, the angle on the moment, the Alnilam rising at the ascendant star angle, and the moment of her birth is to, according to the chart interpretation, to care about precision and detail in the way you live your life. Regal rising at the ascendant, wanting to bring structure to groups, which can lead to a righteous and overbearing attitude. So we'll go ahead and look at the helical rising star Anka to always see the potential in people or places. So it's important here to again look at the book by Bernadette Brady. There's also the Constellation of Words Fixed Stars website, certain categories for more the old style, I would say, interpretation of fixed stars in terms of what they can mean in various categorizations or different areas of life. But according to this interpretation on the chart here, what there is the need to do is to balance the perception of where you're at in society and where you're at and how you're looking at other people, between the positive and the negative, between being too strict, too restricted, or too limited, and to be careful not to be too rigid in all of that. And also the stars of the youth. This is the stars that affect and influence the first third of a person's life. So you break life into three different parts. Let's say the first 20 years, the next 20 years, and then the last. And you get the stars that affect the youth. That's the first 20 years, for example, if you live to be 60. Of course, if you live to be 80, it would be more. But, it's going to be averaging in there. So one has to kind of look at that and interpret that in that way. But the stars of the youth, the Neb Algeti with Venus on the nadir is a somber attitude to the conventions of art or the social customs of relationships. Or Marak with Mars, a thrill seeker, a person absorbed by their own needs. Formal, hot, charismatic, or to be philosophical, to have a philosophical cause and a love of the classics. Acumen with Jupiter, a person that puts themselves at risk in response to their social conscience. Altair, a lover of the bold or the daring. And Aldebaran, the social commentator or creative person that is accepted by society. So there's this idea that in youth, In the first third of the life, there's been some boldness, some daring, some creative expression, the thrill seeker type of person, a little bit selfish, someone that's been in a very restrictive mindset or kind of a conservative mindset, but yet inside feels they want to do more. They want to like break out. They want to express themselves more. They want to try more things. They want to be more adventurous. They want to have more experiences than what they feel that they're able to really tell about, to really express about. And so that's the first third of the life. But there's so much of that. And one most emphasized, Altair with the moon, a lover of the bold or the daring, that's curtailed passage. And that anything signified in these types of charts in red or green, which this chart doesn't have the green, but that are usually circumpolar or arising, lying, and hidden. These kinds of notations to the right, those would symbolize stars that are more heavily emphasizing the fate or more destined influence or a very heavy influence in a person's life. Therefore, Altair with the moon, the lover of the bold and daring, this is somebody that's got this huge influence on their life at certain phases in their life in the first third or the first 20, let's say 20, 25 years of their life. So this is someone that can be very bold, very daring. You know, it's similar to being like a military officer or a skydiver or a race car driver, you know, or just simply, it doesn't have to be an extreme sport or an extreme career. It's just simply that type of boldness, that kind of unafraid approach to the adventures or trying things or endeavors in life, in experiencing those things. So in the stars of her prime, Antares with Mars to act fueled by inspiration or obsession, or Procyon with the moon, changes in one's passions, shifts in likes and dislikes. So this can be someone that in the second third of their life is under the influence of these two stars in particular. It shifts to, you know, like what's inspiring her, what's moving her, what is it that is her passion, what is it that is motivating her. So some study of her own psychology will help her in that period of time. Also, being the changes in those motivations, the changes in perhaps what you find, and I'm now speaking as though I'm speaking to Mariam, what you find that is motivating you, what you find that you really like, what you don't like, because it's almost like in the first third of your life, the first 20 to 25 years of your life, you're trying things, you're tasting things, you're testing things, you're getting new experiences, and you're very bold and you're very courageous about that, but yet you've been held back. You've held yourself back. You can blame it on society, you can blame it on the morals or the attitudes or the constraints of those around you, whether it's family, society, or religion, or any other thing. But in the end, you will learn, if you haven't already, that it's yourself and only yourself at this particular stage in your life that will be holding yourself back. And so the more you experience different things, different ideas, different, even different jobs or different, maybe even some different journeys or different types of, experiences, you will come to the point to where you will learn yourself much better and what it is that you really like to pursue. But you might find that after some time that you will further change course or change direction with that. One thing with Procyon is that you can find yourself being very adaptable to changes. That's another way to see that. I'm very familiar with Procyon. And so the idea that even if you become obsessed or inspired to go in one direction or in certain passions or interests and you change that's okay, because whether it's coming within yourself and your changes are coming, from internal, from your own feelings, or whether it's coming from external circumstances or changes in life, you will be able to adapt very well in the second third of your life to any kinds of changes and pursuits that you take up. You will want to watch out for scandals with the opposite sex. Be careful, be strategic in that. Don't be in a position where you can take great losses, or just be aware that that can be a possibility. And also you'll have to watch something in terms of scandals and too much wine, or anything to do with wealth in terms of it being scandalized. In the last third of the life, there is the influence of Agile with Saturn, which is establishing new boundaries through a desire to undertake difficult tasks. That gives you a more structured approach to your passions, but at that point, jealousy can be an issue. You'll need to be sure that you're not restraining yourself too much with what you really want to do and what it is that you really want to pursue, and in your passions and your pastimes and the things that you like to pursue, like your hobbies or any other things that you like to pursue. But also that jealousy can become an issue. At the same time, though, it's much more positive in the sense that you're able to structure and live life more with greater dignity and fulfillment, because you've learned what it is you like, you've learned what it is you don't like, you've had a number and culminated a vast amount of experiences to where you're able to take advantage of that. In the stars of your foundation, you see Antares with Mars culminating. Again, that's to act or they're fueled by inspiration or obsession. And Anka with Mercury setting, an inventor, engineer, or one who brings order and structure. So this whole idea of not only having and finding your great inspiration or what you're passionate about, and testing and determining and trying new things and really paying attention to what you are passionate about, but also bringing that about more as creative expression, trying maybe even drawing, trying even some art, or trying to create new things, whatever the system is that you're working with, whether it's a job, whether it's your life, whether it's something you find interested in, whether designing it or working with it, or a new way, another pathway, another technique, or just a different way of planning, and creating around that. It might find that it opens up a whole other way of operating for you, whether it's your lifestyle or whether it's an actual work project or an actual job or career. In total, that's just a quick, very basic summary and overview of the fixed stars chart. It is in no way exhaustive, and I again recommend Bernadette Brady's books on the fixed stars and planet combinations to be able to get more in-depth. And also the website Constellation of Words has some categorized listings for what those interpretations of fixed stars can be. Now, predictively speaking, we'll go back, because I like to go back first on the extremes in love. And strategically speaking, defensively speaking, so to speak, I like to start with the extremes in love, gains or losses. And I'm going to start with the challenges to loss or losses in love, and that can affect love and or money. Family relationships, generally relationships, but family relationships and or money, career, job type situations. But the first thing I'll say is that in terms of looking at heartbreaks, there was a probability that you took a loss in life. You lost somebody or something in terms of relationship, family, money, or career, and it was been kind of a heavy, serious loss. Mainly around the year 2010 through 2012, those years in particular. But especially, it looks like the latter part of 2010, but especially 2011, and it carried over into 2012. So if you took a loss in that time, in terms of love, money, career, family, or relationships, I wouldn't be surprised at all, because that was a kind of it was both a looped heartbreak transit and also a Saturn afflicting Chiron in that period of time. So that's why I give that. And then in going forward, you, in the year 2018, will have the same type of challenge in terms of potential losses in love or money. That actually would extend from the first part of 2018, kind of a heavy point mid-March, third week of May 2018, and in finality finishing up, there's a touch of it December 5th, 2018, where transit peaks out that around that time, and then also in finality May 3rd, 2019. So that's a looped heartbreak transit, and there's a challenge to loss in love or money or relationship then. And of course we look at the other transits and also the astrological progressions involved to give the overall kind of weight to how much that may affect your life. But then again, no matter how much negative or positive other astrological transits or progressions are there, in Magi Astrology, which is what I'm using as a predictive tool today, and an astrological analysis in looking in your past and your present and your future, that won't be canceled out by the weights or singularity of any other astrological progressions or astrology transits. So we're looking at that, and also there is a touch of a heartbreak transit. There's a Saturn contra-parallel Chiron that peaked out already back in March 11 of this year. So if you had some element of heartbreak in this year, was kind of maybe perhaps less impactful. It's a singular transit. It is contra-parallel, and that peaked out in around mid-March of 2016. But the bigger concern, the bigger challenge will be in 2018 into the first part of the first, it'll end in May of 2019. Okay, now we move to the positive side of the, what we call the Cinderella transits in Magi Astrology. And, right off, we see that in 2018 through 2019, and specifically that goes into March 6th of 2019. So there's a transiting Chiron applying trine to natal Pluto in a loop transit. So basically what we can say is that from around at least spring of 2018, but for sure from May on into early spring, or actually maybe late winter, it's March 6th of 2019, there is a loop transit of transiting Chiron applying to natal Pluto. So that's a big loop transit of a Cinderella energy, and that's a very profoundly obsessive, very powerful, compelling, impactful, strong, positive, dynamic flow of energy in your life towards success in business, big opportunities that you shouldn't just wait for them to come to you. You should actively pursue. You should actively look for, search for, engage in, and take advantage of, and actively pursue. And the final loop of that actually goes a bit further into April 3rd, 2019, because there's a final in transit of this loop transit in heliocentric sky, the first three being at the peak or the end of the transits, September 6, 2018, May 4th, 2018, September 6, 2018, March 6, 2019 in geocentric sky, and the final peak of that being in heliocentric sky, April 3rd, 2019. So basically, for 2018 into 2019 into April 6th, you've got this great Cinderella period of Chiron applying trine to natal Pluto. So it's really time to go after it and look for the opportunities in terms of love and or career. It's very possible, it's very probable that you could, if you hadn't already found the love of a lifetime, that you could find a love or someone that you would be with for a very long time, or at least a very deep, very powerful love or relationship can certainly develop in that period of time. So that's very positive, very good to see. Also, again, it's a time to really go after any business, career, money, opportunities that you see that are available in that time. It's a really strong, powerful time for that. It's literally called Cinderella transit, and in this case being looped, it's bigger, it's more impactful, it's a powerful, positive year for you in that sense on those dates and a little bit before those dates of the cycle of this Cinderella transit completing, of this coming into your life. So you really want to pursue that, you really want to take advantage of that. That will be what you see in your life coming up in that period of time. So plan for it, be ready for it, and even if you have, the challenging transits in there in that time, you just have to keep positive and go through. Sometimes we have all good times, sometimes we have a mix. So it's good to know if there is a mix of negative and the positive transits. It's good to know that it's kind of like when there's sun and rain. Sometimes in the spring we see both types of weather, and certainly we manage to make the best of that, and that's what you'll have coming up in that time ahead. We can say that, positively speaking, there was a Neptune transiting quincunx to your natal Chiron, the first peak of which these types of transits in a looped Cinderella transit was back in March 25th, 2015, September 5th, 2015, and also January 26th, 2016, so that was just earlier this year. So that would have been a very good time for you in this previous year up until end of January in 2016 for some either a true love experience or a really romantic type of magical type of relationship, and or some breakthroughs with career or job or some sort of opportunities, or something wonderful with a family or a development with family. Those kinds of things with career or love or family or relationships would have been very magical. Something new, something developed would be what I would say about that year in your life, and I'm talking about mainly in 2015. So there was also in the heliocentric sky the same transiting Neptune applying to quincunx to natal Chiron will come up again in 2018 and peak out on September 24th, 2018. That's when that will be. So in the fall of that year also, there's a chance of a child that may come in 2021. So it's not for sure. It is to say that it's possible because of a couple of transits that I see there, and I have had successful predictions, 2 in this last year and a half. They are Georgian. They are one that's living in Europe. The other one is living here in Tbilisi. The one living here is married to an American. She will and is due on the date in the month that I had predicted to her, and the other one the same. That child is coming due in the time that I had predicted it. I've met both of them face to face. I've given them astrology readings like I'm giving you today openly, which I'll publish to YouTube because it is free for you, and because it's free, I will use it as a content and as a demonstration, as I do now and then, to show people what I can do. But that's a true story. There's a couple of girls here now. One and the other one was here, and she's back in Europe. Both of them are having children. They're both pregnant, and they're scheduled to have the child in the exact month in which I had predicted it in advance. That's pretty amazing. So when I say, and I'm using Magi Astrology, that you may have a child in 2021, based on the technique that I'm using to predict that, there's a strong chance. It doesn't mean that it will happen. You know, I can't be 100% correct. I cannot guarantee results on the astrology that I give. I don't give medical or any other type of advice. You always have to seek that from a professional. This is for entertainment purposes only. But I can say I would give it about a 77 to 80% accuracy that there's a good chance that you could be having your first child in 2021. So, positively speaking, there is a Jupiter conjunct Chiron that peaks out. This is a Cinderella transit that peaks out in geocentric sky this year, October 18, 2016. So that's a really fantastic energy that you're experiencing into coming up as far as into this third week of October coming up this year. There's also a Jupiter parallel Chiron that will come in. This is another Cinderella transit. It's looped because it comes in and peaks out November 21st, 2016, April 25th, 2017, and July 17, 2017. So that's really, really wonderful energy for you in this year. So you got a lot of potential in this year. And it's also showing up that the Jupiter conjunct Chiron will come around and pick up again in heliocentric sky and peak out February 26, 2017. That's heliocentric. So, and again, you've got that Neptune applying quincunx to natal Chiron in September 24th, 2018. So there's a very good chance that you'll have a number of more positive developments, more exciting developments in your, not only in this year, but also next year and the year after that, and even to 2019, and possibly even culminating in the birth of a child in 2021. So that's pretty exciting for you. It's now at 27 minutes. I'm going to take a quick look at your progressions, and then I'll end this. I will not go over in this audio the horoscope itself, your birth chart, and all that. That's something that if you're interested in, we can talk about later or look at later. But for now, I've given you the most important predictive extremes in losses or gains in love, and in your case, even the probable time you'll see your first child in life. Wow. Well, the first thing I can say is that looking at your astrological progressions, there is a progression of Venus applying trine to Chiron, and that peaks out on June 8th of 2017. So if you haven't already gotten into a love relationship, especially given the Neptune-Chiron loop transit that you had last year that peaked out in January of this year in a geocentric sky, a looped transit of that Cinderella kind, if you don't already have a love relationship or are in a love relationship, it's a very strong possibility between now and June 8th of 2017, just based on that progression, because that progression is a Venus trine Chiron is a very magical, very, very magical energy. It's a very magical time in life, and a lot of times it's the experience of a true or real, authentic love experience. And if it's not manifesting in terms of love, it can be just a magical time, very wonderful time, and experiences in life, whether that comes through career or work or some other opportunity or a project or some sort of even travel, experiences, or just friendships or relationships, especially family and romance. It's a wonderful, wonderful time in life, and you have that in the progression. So you can expect that and be expecting to manifest that all the way now into June 8, 2017. So that's really exciting to see. Very, very exciting to see. So there are a number of other progressions here. There is a Mars contemplating Uranus that goes on until July 23rd of 2025. That is the ability and influence to have the energy to be able to travel extensively, to have the energy and ability to travel the world, to be very bold and independent in your thinking and your living and your being. It's also giving you a special skill or talent in astrology. You could be a flight stewardess, for example, and do very well in traveling the world and earning money while you do it and getting experiences. I'm not saying that's something that you should do or that you will do. It is something that you could do if you chose with that kind of energy in your life up until that time. There's also a number of positive and exciting changes that could happen in these years as well. So I'll stop with that. There's also, I'll say one last thing, because there's many others I could go on and talk about and interpret, but Mercury is trine to natal Pluto in progression until the end of, it's December 13, 2017 in geocentric sky. That can be a lot of profound, deep thoughts, thinking and thoughts that are hard to tell other people sometimes, because you'll understand it and you can express it, but a lot of people are going to be totally lost. They're not going to understand you, and you'll get frustrated or just think, why even share it? But you yourself will have the depth of insight and thinking and ideas. So the challenge for you, what will help you, is if you can still try to express it, but on a more simple step-by-step level. So somebody may not be able to understand it or get what you're thinking in the depth and the richness of your idea or your suggestion, or why you're wanting to do things the way you think it should be done or the way you want it to be done, whether it's your life or at your work or another thing. So if you present it in small steps, small bite-sized pieces, that will help you to be able to better move forward. Also, travel to places that you find enriching or very, like the Great Pyramids of Egypt would be one example, or another kind of travel where you're not just traveling for pleasure, but also you're getting some sort of a richness and some sort of deep experience with that. That will be very helpful for you too, as well as any kind of short courses, education, any kind of, whether it's a study somewhere where you go away for a weekend or a week or something like that. All those things are supported by by this particular progression almost into the end of the year 2017. So if you get those opportunities to take those kinds of travels or those kinds of short courses or educational experiences, or even books, for example, it can also be in your study, in your mind, as well as, of course, websites, videos, etc. But really to expand and press forward in the way that you think and see the world. So that's a quick overview. That's predictive, looking ahead in terms of the extremes and gains and losses or love. You can put all that together. You can kind of map that out on a piece of paper. That's often what I will do, so that you have a lineup of the positives and or the negatives, the challenging times, and then you can be inspired to be able to get through that without maybe, oftentimes in a heartbreak transit, you're challenged to a loss or to give up something or to react, to be reactive and to make the wrong decision, or to cut a relationship off when it's too early, or to give up too early or too easily, or just simply to take revenge or to respond in a negative way. But by knowing this knowledge and having this knowledge, you'll know when to really, really go for it more, and when to kind of hold back and not be kind of tricked or deceived or fall into the trap of making mistakes under the negative transits. That's traditionally, and for many thousands of years, how this knowledge has been used, and that's how you would use it for going into the future. There's a big possibility for you also to get involved in more bigger, powerful business opportunities, anything to do with big money, big business, banking, real estate, financing, commercial real estate, if you had the interest or if you wanted to. That is also supported for a number of years by an astrological progression here that's also connected to the Mercury as well, even management or teaching in that respect. So it was a pleasure to meet you, Mariam. I will post this now and hope that you will enjoy it. If you have further questions, of course, I'll be more than happy to answer them later. And for those listening in and finding this on YouTube or on my Facebook or in my playlist, my astrology playlist, this is just one quick example of a half-hour reading, 35-minute reading on the extremes and gains, losses in love. And I consider it to be among the very best astrology in the world, and that is using Magi Astrology. Many thanks to the Magi, that's MAGI Society, for their software and books and teaching over the years, which has enabled me to be able to very accurately make such prognostications on people's lives, especially in regards to love. So, enjoy. This is Michael Vanderpool, Psychic Astrologer. You can catch me at www.universalstars.net.
That's why you turn and run.